Storing this favorite review in a session is thankfully very easy. Because we are utilizing Django and its built-in session features, this request object will automatically have a session property. And we can use this property to access already stored data or to add new data. For example, here, I can add new data simply by adding any key of my choice, and that should be double quotes, by the way, any key of my choice. I'll go for favorite review and storing any value of my choice under that key. So in this case, fav review. So now that fav review, this review object, gets stored in my session with that key favorite review. And under the hood, Django will make sure that this data is then stored to the database along with all other session data that belongs to me, and that this data will then always be accessible if I send requests to this server. And for every user, a different session with different pieces of data will be kept around. So multiple users can have different favorites. Now, once we're done with that, I want to return a response redirect where I do redirect the user, and I want to send the user back to that review detail page where he or she is coming from. So to reviews / and then add that review ID to the URL. And we could be using the reverse function here, by the way, just as we could use the URL tag here for the action. And that would be better. I'm just not doing it here to keep this as short as possible and focus on just the core topic at hand, which here are sessions. So therefore now we do get our review, store it in a session, Django then automatically saves the data in the database, and we then redirect. With all that done, let's save this and visit localhost 8000 /reviews/1, for example. Of course, make sure that you do have some reviews data in your database. We did create them over the last sections, so if you followed along there, you should have that data. If not, simply visit just localhost 8000 and start adding some data there. Now, with that, I'm now seeing this page, and the styling could be improved, but let's not worry about that. Instead, let's click this favorite button now. And if we do that, we get a CSRF error, which makes a lot of sense because we got a form here, and if a form is submitted, we have to ensure that this CSRF token is included. That's always required because this security mechanism by Django is always active. So let's make sure we add that token here and then reload localhost 8000 /reviews/1 and click again. And now I'm getting an error that I have a typo here. That's not .posts, but .post. .post is the property which contains our data. So that's just an oversight from my side. Now with .post, let's try this again. And now we get an error that the object of type review is not JSON serializable. And unlike the other two errors, that actually is an error which I did want to reach, because this is important. Let's talk about sessions and serializability.